A 14-year-old boy drowned in Central this weekend. I'm Chris Ensing, live in Gander, and I'll pass along the message the family wants the public to hear. Coming up.
Returning home, Mud Lake residents face a daunting future.
Look at this, look. Look.
Well, like most mammals, they host a variety of bacterial and viral infections.
It may seem obvious, but some people need reminding, don't touch a dead whale.
After a wild weekend of weather, things become a little more seasonal this week. That said, there's still some snow in the forecast. The details are coming up.
A teenage boy is dead after falling out of a canoe this weekend.
Yes, he was boating with two other friends on a pond near Gander when it flipped.
None of the three was wearing a life jacket. Here Now's Chris Ensing has been following this story, joins us now live. Chris?
Well, the RCMP tell me that they are continuing to investigate this event, and the family of the young boy who died is asking the public to learn from what happened. This is Matthew Sargent, 14 years old. Families say he was a skilled hockey player, a member of the Bantam Gander Flyers. This Sunday, he was out at a cabin, one of three young teens on a canoe. It flipped on a body of water near Joe Bat's pond. They fell out and tried to swim to shore. Two made it, but Sargent didn't survive. Today, his uncle posted this on Facebook saying he made the fatal decision not to wear a life jacket and asking parents to speak to their kids about this tragic event, saying, "Tell them it is because we love them and are trying to prevent this type of thing from ever happening." As for the emergency response, the Gander Fire Department and RCMP responded, but it was the boy's uncle who pulled Sargent out of the water.
My understanding was it was a local citizen actually recovered the actual body, a gentleman who had some diving equipment.
Did the RCMP ask that gentleman to take part in this? I understand the Gander Fire Department responded as well.
Yes, that's correct. Gander Fire Rescue did respond, and I don't believe the gentleman was actually asked by the RCMP to take part in the search, but he was the one that recovered the body.
As far as resources, if you have to rely on a private citizen like that, is there enough here in Gander then to respond to a call like this?
I think we're well equipped. With Gander Fire Rescue, we have our local search and rescue, so I think we're equipped for those situations.
As for the other two boys, they were able to swim to shore and were taken to hospital in Gander, treated for minor injuries. The RCMP say they're doing fine now. The two schools here in Gander, which these boys attended, were open on Monday, the holiday, for grief counseling. And there is an outpouring of support with thoughts and prayers going to the family on social media. There's actually a picture going around of a desk signed by students. I want to read one of the messages here. One post says that they'll love Sargent forever and always. Reporting live for Here Now, I'm Chris Ensing in Gander.
Well, friends and family are remembering Justin Merin, the 27-year-old killed in St. John's last week when the car he was in crashed and rolled over. An obituary posted over the weekend describes Merin as a free spirit who lived and loved one day at a time and was cherished for his kindness, loyalty, and big heart. The obituary also says Merin's organs were donated to several people in need of transplants. The 22-year-old who was driving the vehicle was taken to hospital in serious condition after last Wednesday's crash on Blackhead Road.
Now to Britain, where police are still trying to figure out if the Manchester suicide bomber acted alone or had accomplices. He killed 22 people at a concert last night by the American singer Ariana Grande.
I can confirm that the man suspected of carrying out last night's atrocity is 22-year-old Salman Abedi.
Police searched the area where Abedi lived today. They have arrested one person, but there is no word on what he's suspected of. ISIS says it's responsible for the attack, but that has not been verified. Many people in Manchester are still looking for family members, including Charlotte Campbell, whose daughter Olivia went missing after the concert.
I need my daughter home. I need to know where she is. Her mother shouldn't have to do this. Just let someone know. Even if you think it's her, just let someone know that it might be her, please. I just want her home. I want her back in my arms.
Well, we are learning much more about the victims of last night's attack, including a girl who's only 8 years old. We'll have that in about 40 minutes.
People in Mud Lake are making their way back into the community. Some even have electricity restored, but just about all of them have a big job ahead to clean up and rebuild. And Here Now's Jacob Barker traveled to the community with one resident today. He joins us now live in Happy Valley Goose Bay. So Jacob, what did you see?
Well, we first met Joy Williams last Wednesday morning after she was evacuated along with her 5 dogs at the Goose Bay Airport. Well, today she went back home for the first time today. She met with government inspectors and started to figure out how she's going to pick up the pieces.
This is just mind-blowing. Just mind-blowing. Well, my doggy's headstone is still here. I buried my dog last August, one of them. What do we got? Did not see a well, could not get in a house due to no steps. Okay, so they leave this on the door, and every time they come, they make their notes. Before I look at the house, I want to check on the chickens. I'm quite sure they've perished, but we'll have to go around on the other side of the house. So as you can see, I still have water. All right. Now we can get in the backyard. Well, it looks like they went quick. It doesn't look like they were. I think they went that night. I just don't want anything to suffer. Cold water, cold deep water, it would have been quick. It would have been quick, so. But we can go around back and go on the back deck. Are you ready now? Okay, good, let's go.
Is it the water level?
That must be the water level.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna, holy cow. It's just,
What do you think?
look at the old water heater keeled over. This is just a jumble, a mess. There's nothing to think. Look at this, look. And it stinks in here.
What does that smell?
Oh, that's septic. That's septic smell. So, yeah. Given the septic damage, the fact that all of the water that was in the house was saturated with mercury and septic, I will not be comfortable living in this structure. Oh, freak. Oh, that's heavy. See the water pouring out of it? These are my tax receipts. So what I gotta do is take these across to Goose Bay, and because if they dry like this, they weld. There we go. We get the tax receipts. This is what I'm taking for now.
Now, Joy says that she does want to rebuild, but in Mud Lake in the summer, that's no easy task. It's quite an expensive thing to take materials across the water here. She said to do that. Here and now.
Wow. Well, there's a new attraction in Outer Cove, and it's creating quite a stir. The carcass of a humpback whale has washed up onto the beach, and it's bringing curious onlookers. And Here Now's Martin Jones joins us live now from Outer Cove Beach. Martin?
Well, the whale carcass came ashore here yesterday. It's believed to have died a few weeks ago, but just making land for the first time. Since word hit on social media, well, there's been a steady stream of people coming to check it all out, to get a closer look. For many, it's the first time they've seen a whale like this up close and personal, and it's something they just couldn't miss.
It's pretty incredible, I gotta say. I was just saying how this is like the most Newfoundland thing ever, the whale, and then we've got like the big iceberg in the back. But it's pretty amazing.
Is this your first time seeing something like this?
Yeah, it is. Funny enough, I mean, I've gone on whale tours and seen a lot of whales, but I've never seen anything like that. It looks smaller than I imagined, but maybe it was a baby.
I was thinking, okay, like I've seen it a lot of time on the different parts of the island. When I saw Outer Cove, I left everything what I was doing. And I thought I'll come here and have a look at it, right? Because it's once in a lifetime type of thing.
And worth the trip.
Worth the trip, yes.
Well, since we've been here this afternoon, we've seen people getting up close and personal for sure. Some people trying to touch the carcass, and a few even trying to get on top of it to take a picture. Certainly the farthest thing from the safest of things to do.
By all means, come down and have a look, but we'd like for people to stay clear of the actual carcass, because we don't know how the animal died. It is a rotting carcass. Obviously, it could prevent health issues. And the other thing is, be mindful of the wave action here. I mean, the sea here today is still pretty heavy, and it's not a good, we wouldn't want to hear tell of somebody getting swept out for wanting to come down and see the whale.
So what happens next for the whale? Well, Mayor Kennedy admits he's never really dealt with anything quite like this before. He has put calls out to officials for a little bit of help to see what to do next. Until that guidance comes in, he's always open for a little bit of luck.
It's a very large carcass, and it's going to require some work to get it out of there if it's necessary. We're hoping that Mother Nature brought it in. Mother Nature's going to take it away.
Mother Nature has helped out in one way, and that's the cold temperatures. That slowed the decomposition of the carcass down quite a bit, and that has lessened the smell considerably. But that could all change if the weather ever decides to warm up. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Martin Jones.
The City of St. John's has announced details of a plan to meet face-to-face with people about automated garbage collection. In 2 years, the plan will be put in place, but right now the city wants feedback from people about possible problems and concerns. Here and Now, CBC Here reports.
The plan to automate garbage collection will cut down on injuries, get rid of those useless nets and blankets, and hopefully lead to more recycling at the curb. The city's plan to automate was approved 2 years ago, and in recent focus groups, the city learned a lot.
Getting the bin to the curb, the size and the dimension of the bin, dealing with it in the winter, what happens to theft, vandalism, how does the wind impact it, etc.
The city's public engagement session started today, and 11 more will take place over the next 4 weeks. The city is keen on hearing from people with physical limitations and landlords who own houses with multiple units. The wheels for this are in motion. 11 new trucks will be delivered in the fall, 4 more in 2018. Some downtown streets will be exempt. The move to automation is about saving money by getting more people to recycle. More recycling means the city pays less for regular garbage dropped off at the landfill. But there are no plans to expand the curbside recycling program. Composting is on hold until 2025, and you can forget glass at the curb.
Glass has the ability to compromise the recycling quality, and also has occupational health and safety issues that come with it. So it certainly is not something that we're looking at adding to the curbside collection process right now.
The bins that people would use have yet to be signed off on at City Hall. The small ones hold 4 bags, the big ones hold 6, and there's still time to have your say. CBC Here, CBC News, St. John's.
The cod fishery off the south coast of Newfoundland opened today, but one group of fishermen isn't on the water. DFO did not open the fishing season for offshore boats. All fishermen are dealing with cuts to the quota of about 50%. But now offshore fishermen are worried they won't be allowed to fish at all. Here Now's Peter Cowan reports from Outer Cove, where people are worried about what it means for work at the plant in their town.
Right now, workers here at the plant in Outer Cove are getting ready for the season. They're ready to start processing cod here. On Friday, DFO announced the opening of the inshore cod fishery, but they didn't say anything about the offshore. And that's unusual. Normally, they would open both seasons together. So the concern for plant workers here is whether or not they'll be able to process that offshore fish here. And it's an important part of what they do here. It adds several weeks to the end of the season, so the FFAW representative says workers here are nervous about just how much work they're going to get this year.
It could mean 10 to 12 weeks work for us at the plant, and anybody that's planned their year, they're going to potentially lose 1/3 of their income.
The company that owns this plant is also concerned about the implications. It's worried that if there's a shorter season, it won't be able to have year-round product to supply to some of the big customers in Europe.
The average employee in our facility last year got 33 full weeks of employment. So if they're potentially going to lose 1/3 of their work to 10 to 12 weeks out of the 33, and they're just getting ready to start work in the next several weeks, it's not a very positive feeling to look forward to this season. So it's a psychological impact. And as well, what do I say to customers? Last year I had fish for them that was caught from November through March. Right now I don't know what to tell those people.
Even though the fishery normally opens this time of year for the offshore fleet, they don't start catching it until November. So there is still time for DFO to announce the opening, but this plant is going to open soon with the uncertainty of not knowing just how long it's going to operate. Peter Cowan, CBC News, Arnold's Cove.
Late today, DFO put out a statement, and it won't give much comfort to offshore fishermen. The department says it is consulting with fishermen about what to do this year in light of what it describes as declining resources in a changing ecosystem.
Canadian Blood Services is shutting down more mobile clinics than previously announced. That's according to internal documents obtained by CBC News. 3 clinics in and around St. John's will be shut down in the coming months. Nurses will no longer go to Atlantic Place, the Northwest Atlantic Fisheries building that houses the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, or to the Marine Institute. Mobile clinics are also discontinued in the Goulds as well as in Torbay and Mount Pearl. Donors are instead encouraged to visit the permanent clinic in St. John's.
From the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal.
Well-known Newfoundland actress Janet Edmund, seen here performing the role of Lady Macbeth, died Saturday evening. In 2015, she was diagnosed with stage 4 bone cancer, but decided to make the most of living with the disease. She spent her days doing what she loved, being on stage, tackling the challenging role with Perchance Theatre and Cupids. Edmonds was 51 years old. A public memorial celebration of her life is being planned for sometime this summer.
And starting next summer, people making local calls in Newfoundland and Labrador will have to dial all 10 digits. The new dialing requirements come out of a CRTC decision, which also includes a new area code for the province. The 709 area code is nearing capacity. It'll have to be included in all phone calls as of August of 2018, and a second area code, 879, will come into effect 3 months later in November of 2018.
Well, a photographer on the West Coast got a rare opportunity yesterday, up close and personal photos of a mainly white moose. Now, this large animal has caught the interest of photo buffs and the Provincial Wildlife Department for about 2 years, as it's been spotted around the Stephenville and Port-au-Port areas. But on Monday, photographer Gerard Gale spotted it near Black Duck Siding, and he says he was so close he managed to get this video. He calls it a once-in-a-lifetime chance, as at one point he was only about a meter from the animal.
There's an unexpected development involving the 2 men who are on trial for attempted murder in St. John's. We'll have that story after the break.
This weather update is brought to you by the Take Charge Business Efficiency Program. Over 400 businesses have saved energy and taken charge of their bottom line. Find out how you can too.
Okay, it's nice and warm in here because it was cold out in Central this
Don't
week.
hit me, Debbie. Don't hit me.
I just didn't have the heart to even make a snowball, but there was a lot of snow around.
Imagine.
Yeah,
right?
of course. Debbie was in Terra Nova. Many folks headed to the cabin or camping. Some were even in tents this weekend, and I do not know how hardy you can be to be in a tent this past weekend. Some of the pictures we got to start and show you. This was from Mary's Harbor. Great picture there. And not sure if we do have supers on these. I guess we don't, Roddy. Okay, this one was from Paradise, and a great picture there with a snowman. This one from Donnie O'Keefe was in the Steadybrook region, and this picture, I'm not sure where this was taken, but it doesn't matter because there was snow and the elves don't like that. This one was from Lark Harbor, and a great picture there with the nice rack. This one was from Parsons Pond on the west coast, enjoying some snow there. This one was from Butterpot Park. I know Jim Fitzgerald sent this one in. Great picture. This one was of a soccer tournament in the Corner Brook region. And this one, they were nicely shielded there. Some were in Central, and this one was from Rocky Harbor. So I remember most of them, but thank you so much for everybody. This one was from Cartwright with over 50 centimeters of snow. And this one is from the Northern Peninsula.
Wow, it still looked like a lot of people had a good time, though.
Yeah, I think people were making the best of it, and you really, really had to make the best of it.
Think warm thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the totals were quite impressive. 53 centimeters in Cartwright, 10 centimeters in Cowhead, 5 centimeters officially at St. John's Airport. And again, we saw the one picture from Paradise there with the little fellow with the snowman with the pipe in his mouth. And of course, then there was a lot of areas that had mixed precipitation. And central Lassie along the Bayvert Peninsula, 123 millimeters of precip. So that is both rain and melted snowfall combined. That is a ton of precip. Of course, Lewisport, 49 millimeters, and Terra Nova, where Debbie was cabining, near 23 millimeters of snow and rain. So we turned things around as most people headed back to their jobs today. Yeah, near 20 degrees in central Newfoundland, 18 in Corner Brook, 11 the high in St. John's today, 12 in Churchill Falls. Labrador City did top out at 9 degrees, but our next system is bringing yet more snow into Labrador as we speak and into tonight, especially for the southeast, north of Lake Melville, mainly down into the Cartwright region, where we could see 5 to as much as 10 centimeters of snow. Some light shower activity starting to roll into southwestern Newfoundland, pretty light but scattered. The Avalon stays dry until after midnight tonight. And here's how it plays out with your future tracker. Note the clouds building in. Some pretty steady precip arriving for Wednesday morning, so you're going to want to watch that dog walk for sure. The Avalon looks wet in the morning. We will see some drying out into the afternoon. That snow in southeastern Labrador will taper off to some flurries. That low will take its time, but will depart for Wednesday night and in through Thursday. And note that this area of high pressure building in from the west will really start to clear the clouds out for Thursday afternoon and into Thursday evening, just ahead of our next system for late Friday into Saturday. We'll break that down in your long-range forecast. There are your morning temperatures. So your morning outlook, we're starting around 5-6 degrees. Scattered shower and drizzle activity for the west coast will clear again into the morning. There's that freezing rain potential, the Straits through St. Anthony with some wet snow up through the Mary's Harbor region into Cartwright and back towards Happy Valley Goose Bay. And again, the best chance of rain will be up through the Burin, Placentia Bay and then rolling across the Avalon. And as we roll through your timeline here for your forecast, note those steadier periods of rain through Wednesday morning and then some clearing into the afternoon. Wouldn't rule out some sun breaks for most of us tomorrow. I do think the cloud cover dominates, but I think the sun will be in the mix at least, especially mid to late afternoon. Southwest winds, so we'll have temperatures in the 8 to as warm as 12, 13, even 14 degree range towards Clarenville and parts of the Burin Peninsula. Again, some sun breaks here into central into the afternoon as well. Better chance of showers certainly in the morning. A scattered drop possible into the afternoon, especially Badger back towards the Bayburt Peninsula, the west coast of Newfoundland, Corner Brook, Grossmore, and again a scattered drop or two, but the best chance of showers here is into the morning. Winds are going to be in from the west, so cooler in those onshore winds, but as warm as 14 or 15 away. And note that the winds tomorrow right through the Strait of Belle Isle, so not good news for the pack ice, which has already started to roll back into the straits. Highs near 1 to 3. Makkovik will see some lingering flurries. Nain will see the sun tomorrow. Happy Valley Goose Bay again tapers to a bit of drizzle with mainly cloudy skies, and the sun breaks out in Lab West. We'll talk about your long range coming up. Debbie? Carolyn? Debbie. Carolyn?
Carolyn. Thanks so much, Ryan. Well, in an unexpected development, 2 men charged with an attempted murder charge in St. John's in 2013 have entered guilty pleas to some charges. The trial of Jason Marsh and Christopher Shaw is now in its 3rd week. Here Now's Glenn Payette reports.
38-year-old Jason Marsh and 34-year-old Christopher Shaw are on trial for 2 shootings in St. John's in 2013. One was on Boyle Street. The other was in Williams Heights near Bowring Park. Today in Supreme Court, Marsh pleaded guilty to assault with a firearm for the Boyle Street shooting. In that one, Kyle Mullet had taken a shotgun blast to the chest and was in hospital for 5 days. As well, Marsh pleaded guilty to an aggravated assault for shooting Mullet. And Marsh also pleaded guilty to an aggravated assault for the Williams Heights shooting. The victim, Charles Lacosta, was hit 3 times with .22 caliber bullets. He would spend many weeks in hospital and had several operations. Marsh also pleaded guilty to endangering Lacosta's life with a firearm. Shaw was also accused of the aggravated assault and endangering life charges, but today he pleaded guilty to 3 weapons charges and charges of breaching court orders. Tomorrow, the facts will be read in, and it's anticipated that Shaw and Marsh will be convicted on the charges they pled guilty to today. It's also anticipated that the attempted murder charge they were facing will be withdrawn. Glenn Payette, CBC News, St. John's.
The terrorist attack at the Manchester Arena in the UK is resonating with teens here. This afternoon, CBC's Todd O'Brien spoke with some students at Prince of Wales Collegiate.
Did you hear about the bombing in Manchester?
Yes, I did.
What did you think?
I was just terrified and really, really sorry for all the people who had to deal with their losses yesterday.
Were you a fan of Ariana Grande?
Yes, a huge fan actually.
And so I guess you would like to see her in concert.
Of course I would.
And would you go now?
It's definitely a lot scarier, but I don't know. Is it going to happen again? I don't think it would really affect it, but like it would affect me going, but it definitely would be a lot scarier, that's for sure.
I thought it was terrible. I don't think people should do that to other people, and especially in a huge place with all these innocent people. They shouldn't do that. I think it's terrible.
Are you a fan of Ariana Grande?
I'm a huge fan. I listen to her music all the time.
What would you have you ever been to one of her concerts?
Yes. I actually saw Justin Bieber and she opened for him, and she was amazing. So
where was that?
That was in Florida, Tampa.
Has this changed how you might approach concerts now?
Yeah, I think I'll definitely be a lot more careful when I visit, and I'll always be on the lookout.
It's terrifying.
Why?
I think it's just cruel to the poor people that basically didn't do anything.
I also thought it was very terrifying, and you would normally think that it's just a good place to go, and then something like that could happen and just change there one day.
Well, there's a lot of interest in the dead whale that's washed up on the beach in Outer Cove, and that's a bit of a worry for research scientists like Jack Lawson. We'll tell you why after the break. Crowds have been flocking here to Outer Cove Beach to see and smell this dead humpback whale that washed ashore here over the weekend. And there are a few good reasons why you shouldn't get too close. And joining me now to talk a bit about that and about the whale is Dr. Jack Lawson, a marine researcher. So what can you tell us about this whale?
Well, we know it's an adult male humpback whale, and it's been dead, by the looks of it, several weeks, I would say. And we had a look at for scars and marks. We can't tell at this stage what killed it. So that, I think, will remain a mystery.
Okay, so you've been down here a few times. You're here today with some students getting some measurements and stuff. But you've noticed some people are getting a bit close to this whale. I just noticed a woman actually petting the whale. Why should people maybe not do that?
Well, like most mammals, they host a variety of bacterial and viral infections as a normal part of their life. And we know, for instance, marine mammals can harbor things like brucellosis bacteria. They're a vector for a herpes virus, similar to the one that humans can get. So in addition to being a risk of just the smell it'll get on your skin and your clothing, it's a possibility that someone could pick up one of these. So we really discourage people from handling the animals or parts of it.
And that goes for pets too, right?
Oh, definitely. I was watching someone put a dog on the whale yesterday. I don't know why, but definitely not.
It's pretty stinky. You can see lots of debris and organs floating in the water. What kind of contamination is happening here with this beach?
Well, the sad thing for the beach is that because this is a marine mammal that stores a lot of energy for insulation in the form of fats, blubber, when they decompose like this, you'll see, especially on a warm day, a lot of that fat will sort of emulsify or liquefy and float off. And so if you look out over the water, you can see organs, but there's also like a brown foam. So I had a walk down the beach earlier, and you can put your hands into the sand. When you take it out, they're oily. So all of these oils, they don't dissolve in water for a long time. So the oils will stay in the sand and the gravel, potentially even if the whale is removed for weeks. So the issue is if you're, say, looking for capelin in a few weeks, they may be tasting a bit like whale fat.
Ooh. Would you eat a capelin from this beach this year?
If they were to remove the animal right away and we got a lot of storm action and someone was to come down and take samples, then I would be happy to do that. Otherwise, I suspect I might go to Middle Cove or somewhere else.
So it's definitely something for people to consider if they're planning on coming here to catch capelin.
In a few weeks, if this animal is still here and it's looking like it may stay, then yeah, I would be a bit worried.
And what is the situation there? What happens next with this animal?
Well, with an animal like this that's cast up on the beach line, it's the responsibility of the municipality, if it's within a city limit, say, or if it's outside of a city limit or a town boundary, then it becomes a Service NL issue. So either the province or the municipality will have to deal with deciding what they want to do. So in many cases where they wash up in a remote location, you just let nature take its course. It'll rot away in a year or so, the gulls will have a feed, and it'll be just a history point in a few years. But where it's here and it's such a popular beach, I imagine they'll want something done.
How can you remove something like this?
Well, the tricky part about this animal, you can see here that the jawbone in the front is already de-articulated, and so this animal will quickly start to basically come apart. So if this is to be moved at all, generally you take a rope loop around the tail and then pull it offshore and take it to a remote spot. The longer you wait, there's a risk that when you pull on that animal, it's just going to come apart into pieces, or as you tow it away, bits and pieces will fall to the bottom. So it's kind of something that should be done sooner than later if you're going to move it.
So will there be any analysis done on this whale to find out what may have killed it?
Well, what we've been doing is we took a sample of skin, muscle, and blubber, and from that we have a couple of guys in Quebec that have been doing toxicology for us over the years of the beluga whales and things there. So they'll have a look at these. But where this animal's been dead for at least weeks, maybe a month, a lot of those toxins will already be leached out of the system. So if we don't find toxins, it doesn't mean that that wasn't the cause. It just might be where it's such an old corpse.
So we may never know.
We may never know.
All right, Dr. Jack Lawson, thank you so much for speaking with us.
You're welcome.
Well, people in Mud Lake are heading back home, and it's clear they face a huge task cleaning up from last week's flooding. After the break, I'll speak with one of these people. Welcome back. Dave Rayburn has always loved returning to his home in Mud Lake, but not yesterday. It was his first time back since flooding forced him, along with his wife, to escape in the middle of the night in a small boat. 6 people and 2 dogs navigating in the pitch dark to higher ground where a helicopter took them to Happy Valley Goose Bay. And Dave Rayburn joins us now from Happy Valley Goose Bay. Thank you so much for doing this, Dave. You were back in Mud Lake.
Hi, Debbie.
You were back in Mud Lake again today, but I want to know how you felt when you first saw your home yesterday.
Yes, well, it was a bit of a shock, Debbie. I was expecting, I had a picture in my mind of what to expect, but it was actually quite a bit worse as far as the depth of the water that had got inside the buildings. The main part of my house was not touched by the water, it didn't get into the floor of the main part of the house, but the sunroom and the porch got quite badly damaged, and my buildings outside, my pump house filtration system and my garage were really bad.
Just tell me about that garage. You said it used to be a hangar, so it was a fairly big size, and you had a special water filtration system there. You worked on this a long time. What happened?
Yes. Well, basically, yes, I did. I spent a lot of time researching ways of filtering the water, and I spent about 6 months at that, and then I designed and built the pump house with all the filter systems and tanks and whatever, and it worked quite well. But when I opened the door yesterday to look inside, it was just total devastation. So that, I really don't know where I'm going to start with that.
Yeah. So you've I'm sorry, go ahead. You've lost a snowmobile and a boat as well, haven't you?
Well, I haven't lost the boat. The boats are both there. I'm not sure of the condition of one of the boats. It mysteriously moved from where I parked it about 100 yards to a point in the trees, and I don't know how that happened, but anyway, that boat is possibly damaged. The other boat appears to be okay, but the contents of the garage were quite badly damaged. Everything in the house was underwater. Everything in the garage was underwater. Snowmobiles and four-wheelers and lawn tractors, all that kind of stuff. And to make it all that much worse, I had 5 gallons of waste oil that I had stored to take up to be disposed of, and that tipped over. So everything is now covered in a film of oil as well as being submerged, or was submerged.
Sounds like a write-off.
I hope not, but it's going to be a big task to bring everything back to reasonable condition, I think.
Just briefly, what did the inspector or inspectors you met with there in Mud Lake say to you today? Any positive news from them at all?
They basically inspected the building and said that the electrical systems were safe to be turned on again. So they turned the power back on, and we went through the house and switched on the breakers one at a time to make sure everything was safe, and checked all the heaters and that kind of stuff. Everything seems to be working electrically. We didn't turn on the power to the pump house or the garage because that needs to be checked further.
I want to just ask you one final thing. I know you've been at the meetings in Goose Bay with officials. Some people still suspect that it's Nalcor's operations that caused the flooding, and the Premier is pledging to get to the bottom of it. Dave, what will satisfy you? Well,
we had a good meeting a couple of days ago now with the Nalcor official, Jim Keating, and one other, and it was a good meeting. They were responsive and honest with us, I believe. So I'd like to take that further and look into this situation more. We went through a chronological log of the operation of the spillway gates from last November to the present, and there was a period of 48 hours when Nalcor let go 8 meters of water from the reservoir. Now that's a tremendous amount of water to be let go at that time, at any time really, but at that time of the year when the river was starting to freeze up, it was just bad timing. And I believe that that was the start of the problem there. The river froze up to a very high level, and so there was a lot more ice in the river than normally, and we think that's what caused the flooding.
Well, Dave Rayburn, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry we've run out of time at this point, but we will be following to see what comes out of that inquiry, and the best of luck to you with your personal situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you.
The weather update is brought to you by Belltone Hearing Service St. John's, helping the world hear better.
Well, you can move in those heels, Coop, I'm telling you.
Totally can.
From the monitor over
You'd
here.
never say it in those heels, but yeah.
That's giving away all our
I
secrets.
know, I shouldn't be saying anything. But yeah, you should be running a marathon in those heels, I'm telling you. Now, before we get to the weather, I want you to check out these pictures and a pretty interesting story. That's the pack ice in the Cove side of the Bell Island Portugal Cove ferry crossing on late Monday afternoon. Now, Mona Budden says the ice was actually delaying all crossings until 4 p.m. Monday, and that the staff of the Beaumont Hamel had the ingenuity and persistence to rope the large slab of ice that was blocking the entrance into the docking area. And once the large piece of pack ice was secured, the captain of the ferry proceeded to reverse the vessel, taking the pack ice out of the docking area, dropping it out of range, and proceeding to lay anchor. And of course, this was all much to the delight of the vessel that was full of vehicles and passengers. So roping the pack ice so you can make a parking spot. I like it. Pretty cool story, and thanks to Mona for sharing the pictures and the story with us. Highs today, 11 in St. John's, 17 in Gander, 18 in Corner Brook. Certainly improvements from what was a memorable weekend. Why don't we put it that way, and what has been a memorable May for all the wrong reasons. Now, we are definitely seeing some warmer air pushing in over the next couple of days, but still some snow in the mix in the long range, and we'll show you that in just a second, and some snow in the mix in the short range as well. Happy Valley Goose Bay, a couple centimeters tonight and in through tomorrow on the leading edge of this. Cartwright, even Mary's Harbor's a slushy mix, but I think it's Cartwright up into Rigolette where we'll see the best chance of some accumulation over the next 24 hours. It's periods of rain across southeastern Newfoundland that will linger into Wednesday afternoon, though I do think we'll see some clearing mid to late afternoon and the possibility of a few sun breaks in there. Winds becoming west on the other side of this low. We'll see some lingering drizzle, mainly up the northern peninsula. Some clearing into the afternoon for Corner Brook and especially areas of central. We'll have temperatures rebounding to 15 or 16 degrees. St. John's in that 12 to 13 degree range again with a break of sun or two mid-late afternoon. Labrador City near 7 tomorrow with a drizzle lingering in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Now, this area of high pressure moving in for Thursday afternoon, that is. Clearing things out quite nicely, though. Look at that cloud cover hanging on with that northerly flow along that northeast coast and into St. John's. That is going to keep temperatures cooler, 6, 7 degrees. Again, chance of seeing some sun for southern areas, but I think Metro will stay pretty much cloud cover capped on Thursday with, again, that drizzle lingering, clearing into the afternoon, then just mainly cloudy skies. Western Newfoundland getting into that ridge of high pressure, as is Labrador with 13, 14 degree temperatures. Week low will then move out to the Labrador Sea. Bit of a break as we move into the Friday time period across the island, though the clouds building in from our next system which will have some periods of rain with it certainly, but it looks like that rain will hold off until later day Friday. So Friday itself, building clouds, bit of an onshore southeast wind, keeping temperatures near 7 right in Metro, but I think warmer certainly for areas just inland, and looking at 15 degrees in western parts of Labrador as well. This system will then roll in for Friday night. Yes, that is the model indicating the potential, at least for some wet flurries early Saturday, especially in Labrador, but not out of the question for northern parts of Newfoundland. Rebounding for Sunday, and then a southerly wind returning for Monday into Tuesday. So as we look at that 7-day trend, I think could see some flurries in the mix for Saturday in Central, with highs just near 4, but Sunday rebounds quite nicely, and we're talking about teen temperatures Monday into Tuesday, and Labrador again some flurries in the mix Saturday, but rebounding nicely into next week.
Let's meet our young athlete of the day. This is 9-year-old Joel Stamp from St. John's. Joel plays basketball with Cowan Heights Youth Basketball League.
But it's not just sports that keeps Joel busy. He's involved with the First Cowan Heights Scout group and also volunteers with the Kids Eat Smart breakfast program.
Way to go, Joel. You're today's young athlete of the day.
And now back to our international news story of the day. It is back to the Manchester attack we talked about earlier. 22 people are dead after yesterday's blast, just as a concert by Ariana Grande last night. Among the dead, an 8-year-old girl. The CBC's Margaret Evans is there with the latest.
People gathered here in the center of Manchester tonight for a vigil. Another European city bowing its head in grief and sorrow, while at the same time vowing to stand together and not to give in to fear and hatred. There was defiance here this evening.
Oh my God.
But last night, Manchester's sense of security was ripped apart when an apparent suicide bomber struck at an Ariana Grande concert. Many of those attending amongst the most vulnerable of targets, young girls and teenagers. The panic of parents unable to locate their missing children, difficult to witness.
This is my daughter Olivia. I haven't seen her since 5 o'clock last night. She was at the Ariana Grande contest with a friend, I'm worried sick. If anybody has seen her, please contact the police.
Today, Manchester police said they had arrested a 23-year-old suspect in connection with the case, and they also gave details about the man they say blew himself up last night.
I can confirm that the man suspected of carrying out last night's atrocity is 22-year-old Salman Abedi. However, he has not yet been formally named by the coroner, and I wouldn't wish to therefore comment any further about him at this stage.
The British Prime Minister Theresa May spoke to the nation from 10 Downing Street earlier in the day. Later, she travelled here to Manchester to try to reassure the people of this city and the rest of the country that security will be stepped up. Tonight, though, this city has begun the process of grieving the dead, one that will continue in the long days ahead. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Manchester.
All right, just a quick recap on your forecast for tomorrow. Again, highs and ranging from 10 to 15 or even 16 on the island. Again, watch for the freezing rain in the southeast parts of Labrador and the northern peninsula tonight, but clearing tomorrow. And look at that picture.
Crystal clear.
That is a sunrise on in Placentia Bay on Isle Valin, which is, again...
so many places, Placentia Bay, I've never heard of. Yeah.
I believe they relocated in the late 1960s from that island.
Absolutely
so a great picture there from Barb.
Thanks, Barb. See you all tomorrow. Good night.